What's going on, y'all? It's Big Facts again coming at you with another video. So in the news recently, President Donald Trump has been making headlines, and the Democrats have been trying to push towards having Donald Trump being impeached. Now, what is the likelihood of him being impeached? I have to say it is very, very unlikely. Sad to say for a lot of you Trump haters out there. So, sorry to bust your bubble, but it's not going to be likely that he gets impeached. And here are the reasons why. But I just want to give you a backdrop first before I get into those reasons. As being the president of the United States, you are the head of state. So you enjoy the benefits. You enjoy the benefit of having, basically what they say, the benefit of the doubt. Because so much responsibility is entrusted onto the executive branch for national security, foreign affairs. All of that is handled under the executive branch. So the people naturally default to whatever actions that are taken coming from the executive branch. It must be, they give them basically that good faith that, hey, it must be in the good interests of the national security of the United States. The public must have that faith, because then that actually helps, strengthen the decision-making process and advancing the goals of the general public. At least that is what is assumed. Now, the Democrats claim that Trump has breached the public's trust, especially now with this issue on Ukraine. And where they make that claim that the president has breached that trust, and this is where they try to find the grounds for impeachment, is this. In that memo that was released, Trump was asking the president of Ukraine for a favor. Now, in that favor, he asked that, that the president of the Ukraine, now that they had some sort of elections in terms of their own, security council and people that handle their national security, the president of Ukraine, his guy, is now in power in terms of whoever handles that. So President Trump was hoping that the president of Ukraine can find out information regarding his political rival, Joe Biden, who more than likely poses to the Republicans as the front runner for the Democratic Party. That should be a signal to the Democrats or the people at large that Joe Biden is probably going to be the one tapped to be the flag bearer for the Democrats come 2020. Now, President Trump wanted to get information about, his son being prosecuted in Ukraine. He wanted to dig up that type of information so that he can now get ahead of the 8 ball and be able to put that out there in the public and basically discredit Joe Biden and basically make him untrustworthy. Because right now, this number has been declining. About 20% of the U.S. public trust the government. All right. And this is what destroyed Hillary Clinton. It was the public's lack of trust in her. People are already skeptical about the government. So bringing even more skepticism in your head of state coming in, that definitely is like political suicide. And I think the Trump administration seen this as this would have been the bomb to destroy Joe Biden. Unfortunately, this kind of backfired. Kind of. And I'm going to get to reason why I say kind of. Now, the Republicans claim that favor that Trump was asking for, because in the memo it's very vague, he claims that it was because of national security. That's what the Republicans claim. That's what they want to stand by, because they know that if it was for basically anything other than national security, let's say personal interest or political gain, then definitely the Democrats have every grounds to move with the impeachment process. Now, the Democrats argue, like I said, that it was for personal gain politically, because Trump wanting to find out the reports on, Joe Biden's son and about Joe Biden, instead of moving it on over to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, he instead ordered that the president of Ukraine give his findings over to Trump's personal lawyer, former mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani. And he also asked that, it goes to Rudy Giuliani and the Attorney General, William Barr. Now, with it going to William Barr, the Attorney General, remember, he's part of the executive branch. I kind of feel like right there, if the Republicans want to save themselves, they could say, hey, William Barr was involved, et cetera, et cetera. They could kind of try to play it that way to muddy up the waters. However, this is going to draw down the lack of trust and the already diminishing trust in the Trump administration. But still, Trump has acted like he's the Teflon Don and nothing happens to stick. But this time the Democrats feel like this can stick. Now, the Democrats, like I said, have somewhat of a solid case in this area that the Trump administration actually delayed the financial aid package that was supposed to go to the Ukraine, which was in upwards of the hundreds of the millions. And they figured that was a tactic by the Trump administration to pressure the Ukrainian president to, hand over information on Joe Biden. Now, the Republicans haven't been doing a good job in, explaining what was the reason for the delay. And, this right there, they're not coming up with a solid explanation, may hurt them as time goes on. Now, with the more time they actually have, they can actually probably conjure up some sort of story. However, if I'm the Democrats, I will want to pressure them on that topic. Like, don't give them any room to escape that. Like, what was the reason for the delayed package? Because then that's when you'll be able to help solidify your claims and move with the impeachment process. Because using U.S. policy for political gain is an impeachable offense. Hands down, no question about it. All right. Now, to the main portion of this video, I do not believe Trump will be impeached. And here's why. Here are a few reasons why. The impeachment process in the United States is not a criminal process. However, it's a political process, okay? This is politically driven. And in order for it to happen, there has to be a 2/3 majority, which will be very difficult to get a pull off and be very unlikely to get Trump impeached, even with getting the 2/3, because by that time, the Democrats will still need 20 Republicans to side with them, and the Republicans are not going to do that. We see this time and time again. All right? The Republicans, no matter how bad Trump is, they are not going to go against their party. So I don't see why people just do not understand this. The Republicans still control the U.S. Senate. They have 53 senators in there. So in order to get a 2/3 majority, you need 67 senators. There's only 45. There's only 45 Democratic senators. Now, the independents will go, so you could say 47, but even with that 47, it's still the minority to the Republicans' majority. So there's no way an impeachment is coming. If anything, this is more so political jostling. They're just jockeying for position politically come 2020, basically to discredit Trump, because deep down inside, the Democrats who are running the show, the Democrats who are in power, they know that, they can't move forward with an impeachment, but what they can do is discredit Trump even further, instill further doubt amongst his base that this guy is just as corrupt as a swamp that he claimed that he was going to drain. All right? So this, like I said, this is just going to garner just more public scrutiny of Trump, so I don't really see, impeachment coming. Also, too, why I believe impeachment won't happen is that U.S. foreign policy, whether Democrat or Republican, is the same. And the Republicans can also default back to that. So even if they want to move forward with that, they can say, all right, great. Trump's out. Pence comes in as a VP. The U.S. foreign policy is still the same. They could say the same thing is going to occur. We had a certain reason why we had to ask the Ukrainian president, for a favor. And they could just default back to that. So this whole issue of Trump getting impeached is not going to happen, especially at a time like this with the U.S. markets being the way that they have been going. They have been down it's been going on to a week now. The U.S. markets have been down. People have been talking about the signs of recession, especially in this bond market bubble that we've been afflicted with, where interest rates now have been dropping, and Trump has been pressuring for those interest rates dropping, thinking that will spur the U.S. economy, because he knows the only thing that can really defeat him is the U.S. economy. He's hoping that the U.S. economy will somewhat boom all the way through the election of 2020, and that whatever happens after that, he does not give a rat's ass about. He does not care. He's hoping that the U.S. economy stays strong through there. But now things are just, the pressure's ratcheting up. The U.S. economy doesn't look as strong. Things in the world economy actually has been showing a slowdown and a weakening. China has been slowing down. Other emerging countries have been slowing down. So not much has been going on that shows Trump the significant sign that, hey, things are going to, 2020 is going to be a breeze. It's not. That's why you see him responding to a lot of this stuff, a lot of the criticism. He did not care about the Russia and the Mueller report because he knew that there was nothing that they could stick to him on that. Nothing could stick to him on that. But this Ukraine issue, coupled with the fact that the U.S. economy has been showing signs of weakness, this is sad news. It's sad news for the Trump administration, and they're worried. The pressure's on them. So if the Democrats, if I were them, hey, they got to continue to stick to it. They got to somehow, even though they cannot manipulate the Federal Reserve is an independent body within the government. But I would say that if I were them, the Democrats, you got to somehow ensure that, hey, whatever Trump is trying to do by pressuring you guys to drop rates so that the U.S. economy will somehow spur further and credit becomes cheaper, you got to try to blockade that. You got to try to muddy that up. You got to kind of discredit him. But overall, impeachment is not coming. Trump will be here. And if I were a betting man at this rate, he is a favorite for 2020. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Till next time.